You may not know this, but your favorite rapper isn't naturally gifted. They've actually just mastered 3 technical skills you don't even know exist. So the problem isn't your voice, your writing, or even your musical ability, it's specific technical gaps nobody told you about. Therefore, in today's episode of How to Rap, we're breaking down the 3-word system that's transformed hundreds of struggling artists from sounding completely fake to studio ready in record time. Now, before we begin, for artists ready to eliminate that mechanical, amateur delivery holding back your potential, grab our course on how to master the art of freestyle rap in 2 weeks or less through the first link in our video description. This is because while this video covers the basic framework of rap flow, being able to go off the top of the dome instantly with any beat with freestyle will 10x your capacities. The entire blueprint comes discounted through that first link, so cop it there. Studios worldwide witness the same tragedy daily, talented writers who sound completely unconvincing the moment they start rapping. The technical term for this phenomenon is pocket deficiency, the inability to align words naturally with the underlying beat. Great bars die on delivery when performed with the rhythmic instinct of a broken metronome, no matter how cleverly written they might be. Most beginning artists focus entirely on what they're saying while completely neglecting how they're saying it, creating immediate disconnect. The beat exists as the foundational element of rap, not merely background accompaniment, but the structural framework everything else builds upon. Kendrick Lamar exemplifies masterful pocket presence on DNA, where his delivery doesn't simply follow the beat but actively converses with it, creating a unified sonic experience rather than words layered over music. His vocal placement feels intentional and organic simultaneously, giving listeners the sensation that his words couldn't possibly exist in any other rhythmic position. This natural alignment with rhythm represents the primary distinction between amateur and professional sounding flow, more important than vocabulary, content, or even voice quality. The disconnect most beginners experience stems from approaching rhythm intellectually rather than physically, trying to calculate beat placement instead of feeling it instinctively. This overthinking creates mechanical delivery that technically hits the beat but lacks the organic quality, making great rap sound effortless and natural. Completing the amateur trinity, poor breath control creates those telltale mid-phrase gasps that instantly signal inexperience to anyone listening. Without strategic breath management, even technically skilled rappers sound like they're constantly running out of air, creating awkward pauses that destroy rhythmic momentum. These 3 fundamental weaknesses, rhythmic disconnection, monotonous emphasis, and poor breath management, create that instantly recognizable amateur sound haunting so many promising artists. Our remarkable discovery is, after working with hundreds of developing rappers, these problems stem from specific technical gaps rather than innate talent limitations. Even more surprising, these issues transform almost immediately with the application of 3 simple principles targeting the exact weaknesses holding most beginners back. Most rap coaches offer vague advice like practice more or find your style, missing the opportunity for direct technical intervention at the points of greatest weakness. The 3-word system addresses precisely where amateur flow breaks down, creating immediate improvement without years of unfocused practice. Your flow doesn't require complete reinvention, it needs targeted correction addressing the specific technical issues preventing your natural rhythmic abilities from emerging. The first transformative word operates as both command and description: feel. This principle addresses the fundamental disconnection between physical rhythm and vocal delivery plaguing most beginning rappers. The brain processes rhythm too slowly for real-time performance, creating that mechanical, stilted quality when rappers overthink their delivery. J. Cole demonstrates this principle perfectly, often closing his eyes while performing to intensify physical connection with the instrumental, allowing rhythm to guide his vocal placement naturally. Watch him during live performances. Subtle head movements and shoulder sways telegraph beat placement before words even form. His body physically processing rhythm, his conscious mind simply follows. Cole described his approach in a 2011 interview. "I never count beats or bars when writing or performing. Everything comes from feeling where my voice belongs within that pocket." This physical first approach directly contradicts how most beginners interact with beats, trying to intellectually map syllables to rhythm instead of developing bodily rhythm awareness. The nervous system processes rhythmic information exponentially faster than conscious thought, providing immediate feedback your brain takes seconds to calculate. Most producing legends emphasize immersive listening before creation. Extended periods absorbing instrumentals without writing or performing, allowing physical understanding to develop. Your body already possesses sophisticated rhythm processing abilities your overthinking actively blocks during performance. Implementing this principle requires surprisingly simple practices with profound impact on flow quality within days rather than months or years. Begin with dedicated instrumental immersion. 30 minutes daily simply nodding along with beats, allowing your body to internalize rhythmic patterns without verbal interference. This practice establishes neural pathways connecting physical movement to rhythm, bypassing the overthinking, creating that stiff, unnatural delivery. Follow with rhythm shadowing, performing alongside recordings of skilled artists, temporarily borrowing their flow patterns to experience masterful pocket presence from inside. This shadowing never aims at permanent imitation, but temporary embodiment, teaching your nervous system what natural flow feels like physically. Cognitive research confirms physical movement while processing rhythm accelerates mastery dramatically compared to pure listening or intellectual analysis. Professional MCs consistently report breakthrough moments when they stopped thinking about flow and started physically feeling it. With solid rhythmic foundation established, we progress to the second word, addressing flat, monotonous delivery patterns, making even on-beat flow sound boring and amateurish. With physical rhythm connection established, the second transformative word addresses monotonous delivery, accent. This principle introduces dynamic variation into your flow through strategic emphasis of certain syllables while deliberately de-emphasizing others. Most beginning artists deliver every word with identical intensity, the sonic equivalent of typing in all capital letters, creating the dreaded robot rap effect. The human ear naturally seeks contrast and variation in sound, making monotonous delivery fundamentally unengaging regardless of lyrical content. For example, Missy Elliott showcases masterful accent implementation on the classic track Get Your Freak On, creating rhythmic magnetism through strategic emphasis that transforms simple phrases into compelling patterns. Her deliberate stress on unexpected syllables creates forward momentum that pulls listeners through verses, making relatively straightforward lyrics sound distinctive and memorable. The practical application of this principle involves emphasizing syllables between main beats, off beats, rather than placing identical stress on every downbeat. This creates syncopation rhythmic surprise that gives rap its engaging quality and prevents the predictable mechanical delivery marking amateur performers. Implementing this principle requires minimal technical skill. Simply identifying 2 or 3 syllables per line for emphasis creates immediate improvement in flow dynamics. Learning which syllables to accent simultaneously teaches which ones to de-emphasize, creating natural speech-like quality, making professional flow sound conversational rather than forced. The moment you introduce strategic emphasis variation, your delivery gains rhythmic interest that maintains listener engagement regardless of content complexity. With physical connection, feel, and accent established, only one critical element remains: the technical foundation supporting everything. Breathe. This final principle addresses improper breath management, perhaps the most obvious technical marker separating amateurs from professionals. Most beginners approach breathing reactively, taking desperate gasps whenever oxygen depletes, creating awkward mid-phrase interruptions, destroying rhythmic continuity. Eminem demonstrates flawless breath control throughout Rap God, sustaining complex rhythmic patterns through extended passages by strategically planning breath points that enhance rather than interrupt his flow. His breath placement seems invisible precisely because it's meticulously engineered quick inhales between natural phrase boundaries rather than panicked midline gasps. This principle requires reframing your entire approach to writing and performance, mapping breath points first, then building phrases around them. We suggest creating what you might call breath architecture, physically marking breath points in your written lyrics before attempting to deliver your bars, creating a strategic blueprint for sustained performance. The technical foundation relies on diaphragmatic breathing, using your core rather than chest, providing maximum oxygen with minimal movement and sound. Learning proper breath support transforms not just flow continuity, but also vocal tone, projection, and confidence. These three principles, feel, accent, and breathe, create a complete system addressing the fundamental weaknesses undermining most beginning rappers. The transformation happens rapidly when implemented correctly, often within days rather than months or years, especially when practiced deliberately in sequence. With that all said, hopefully this video gave you some new insights. And if you want more personalized trainings, check the video description box below. And thanks for joining us for another episode of How to Rap.